value, then when he too was being paid, I assume you paid him as well as me. All of these people are charlatans. All of these people are at best hobbyists and at worst professional con men.
Well, I'm assuming that you've seen the finished product. What did you think of Bob Dean's interview, the retired NATO commander? Well, he
took the video at face value, but that was a case of being correct by accident.
What about Rick Baker? Rick Baker's won Academy Awards.
Rick Baker is a professional makeup artist, a makeup businessman. It's in his best interest to say that he can do much better than the real thing. And that other makeup man, the same goes for him. The
John Criswell.
John Criswell, yes. They both were happy to brag that they could create a more realistic alien. Fine. Well, where is it? In the Men in Black movies? In that ridiculous alien autopsy footage? Show me a more authentic alien than the one in that interview. By all means, if these makeup people are capable of creating a more realistic alien, then show me, compare it, place it before the public. These people are show people. Everything for them is hyperbole. My contempt for the viewers of your documentary over the last 11 years knows no bounds. They've been like children, mocking it, or on the other hand, credulously accepting it with no attempt to evaluate the material on its own merits, or to discover any new material to support or debunk it. This is not a joke. This is not a hoax. Certainly I'm staking my reputation on it. If an anonymous individual in a rubber mask could be said to be staking his reputation on anything, I challenge these ufologists to debunk me, discover my identity. If they really believe that the alien interview footage is a hoax, prove it. Show where it was faked. If they believe that the alien in that footage is a puppet, prove it. Find the puppet maker. If they believe that I am a hoaxer, prove it. Discover my real identity. It certainly doesn't matter to me at this point.
Do you need some water?
Let me say, no. Let us finish this.
All right. Let's move on to some new areas. How do you respond about rumors in the UFO community that Cheney and Rumsfeld have known about the EBEs since the Nixon administration?
Well, certainly Cheney knows everything there is to know within the government. There's not much that is kept secret from the general public that Cheney does not know. As for Rumsfeld, Rumsfeld is a bombastic clown, but he has certainly shown quite a bit of interest in new technologies, shall we say. I will say this to those UFO researchers who seem to be sitting on their hands waiting for someone else to bring them information. If you do your research and discover where Rumsfeld was in the middle of March of this year, I think you will learn a few things that perhaps you would like to know.
Would you care to elaborate?
No, I would not care to elaborate, and I frankly don't think that you, the producers of this documentary, would like for me to elaborate.
Do you think that President Bush has been kept up to date on our ET program, or that Cheney has kept all the information from him?
President Bush, now there is a puppet. There is your artificial marionette. And no one seems to be able to identify him as an artificial president. Why should they be able to recognize a real alien when they see one? President Bush is irrelevant to the process of government, and certainly irrelevant to the decision-making that goes on from the vice president's office.
While we're talking about the current administration, what are your thoughts about 9/11?
I'm not going to talk about 9/11.
You're not going to talk about 9/11?
9/11 is like the Bermuda Triangle. 9/11 is not part of this story. Shall we say that?
Are the EBEs still at the base in Utah?
The base at Utah.
In the Art Bell interview in 1997, you alluded, I believe more than alluded,
Yes.
to the fact that the EBEs were moved from Area 51
Yes,
before
which has been
to the
stood
base in Utah.
Yes.
Are the EBEs, in your opinion, with your knowledge, are they still at the base in Utah?
The EBEs, to my knowledge, are all, at this time, deceased, if you want to call it that. Before we go any further, I just want to say to you, not to your viewers, but to you, and to that rocket person, that this will be the last time you ever see me. This will be my last statement, bar none. And this time I can say that with conviction, because it seems that this container has reached its expiration date. I am apparently not long for this world. So, this will be my final testament.
And what is your final testament?
Thank you for the compassion. As I intimated on the Art Bell interview, my involvement with S4 and the Alien Interview Program did come to an end in 1997, and I have not been involved with the Black Ops program for more than a decade. However, I have been in contact with certain individuals who are still involved in attempting to make sense of the information that was gathered before the aliens discorporated. And I'm here to tell you, gentlemen, that if I am not long for this world, you are not much longer. As the Bible thumpers say, the end times are upon us.
The end of the world?
The end of the world. We have been tested and found wanting. The aliens came, they presented themselves to humanity. They were taken and held and questioned and allowed to die. And now the reckoning is at hand. Let me give a task to these so-called investigators, these ufologists. Look into the record and attempt to determine where Donald Rumsfeld was on March 23rd of this year.
What is the significance of this Rumsfeld date that you keep referring to?
Donald Rumsfeld has been aware of the alien interviews at least since 1974, in the last days of the Nixon cabal. And even when he was out of government, he managed to keep his hand in. But it was not until the bogus telepath program was finally exposed within the secret Black Ops operation that the true translation, that the true meaning of the alien communication was made clear to him. And since then, I think you will find he has lost all interest in the United States and trivial earthly power. His sole interest now is to find a way to be one of those who are taken off when the end comes.
So what you're saying is the biblical end times are upon us? Is that what you're telling me?
It's rather childish to call them biblical, since the Bible itself is simply a smokescreen. These aliens come from the universe of science, not the universe of religion. Religion is a deliberate disinformation campaign started by those who first encountered the aliens and first kept that knowledge to themselves. Donald Rumsfeld is merely one of the last of the line.